I helped shoot this show a couple of times, and I thought you might find this interesting. We shot the Coastal Carolina Fair, and it ran for 11 nights, and we wired the show every single night. So the way it went was, first of all, it was for Hale Artificiere with Jeff Hale, and he drove a large truck down with all the product on it, and he actually keeps a magazine, or kept a magazine there outside of the fairgrounds. And so we would offload all the 1.3 product into the magazine, and we'd leave all the 1.4 product on the truck. And then we had a van, and every morning we'd go over and load up that day's show. Then we'd go into the fairgrounds, and we were there for the rest of the duration of the day until we finished shooting at night. And we had to set up on an island, and the only way across was via a little footbridge. So we had to haul all of our stuff over there on the footbridge. Okay, here's a picture of inside the truck with the 1.4 product. And here's a picture of inside the magazine with all of the 1.3 product. So here's a picture of the mines that we were e-matching. Jeff had e-matched most all of the stuff prior to the show, but we used 24 of these at least a night, and so there was a lot of these to do. Okay, so this is the back of the van with part of one day's show. And this is another day's show, and this is the complete show ready to go. And you'll notice the coffee creamer in the very back. We shot creamer mines every night, and we shot 8 of them. And we put 3 gallons of creamer in every single one of them. So we used a lot of creamer. So here's a picture of us leaving Costco. No, we were leaving Sam's Club with an entire pallet of coffee creamer. And you're talking about turning heads. We had to answer a lot of questions at the checkout because everybody was curious. So this is a picture of the bridge that we had to cross over, carrying everything. And we would electrically fire the complete show. And so we'd run cable across the bridge to our little table there, and that's where we would have the firing panel. And also you can see 3 of the containers that we did the creamer mines out of. So here's a picture standing on the island looking back across the bridge, and you can see the van there. And if you'll notice the trailer behind us, just smack behind us, you might make out what it says above there, and it's elephant encounters. Yes, we had 2 elephants right behind us. So every night we'd have to worry about those guys when we shot the show. Also notice that the chairlift is right above the top of that trailer, so they would have to stop that for every show. So this is one of our neighbors, Cora, and she's also known as Charlotte when she played with Burt Reynolds in the Smokey and the Bandit movie. So this is part of the setup, and it shows how close we were to everything. Actually, back behind me across the water is Kittyland, and so they had to close that as well every night when we shot. Okay, so this is a lot of the setup for one show, and you'll notice that all the cakes are actually in bags, plastic bags, and just about every day there was a threat of rain, so we had to put every single cake in a bag. And this is before we ran all the wires to the control boxes too, because there's no wires everywhere. Okay, so here's a picture of most of the entire setup, just back a little ways. And this looks like it was probably Halloween night because we had some set pieces around of crosses to make it look like a cemetery. Okay, so here's a picture of us wiring up this rack of mines. It's a fan of mines. And the yellow box is actually a stepper box. And it has 12 connections. So We have 12 mines hooked to it, and it allows you to set a time in between each mine. And so you can just have one cue hit the box, and then it steps them off, whatever you tell it the time. Okay, so here's one of the control modules, and this one is a Pyromate, and I believe those are 48 cues. And so that's one of several. So here's another stepper box on the other side, and it's controlling that second fan of mines. Okay, here's a couple of pictures of the aftermath. This is what we faced every morning when we got there. At night after the show, after everything had cooled off, we would go onto the island and unhook all of the E-matches from the control boxes, and then we'd cut all those loose from the cakes. We'd bundle all the wires up. We'd roll up the large cables, and then we would start loading up all of the cakes into big rolling trash cans and take those off the island. So in the morning when we came in, all we had to do was rake up some of the trash and then start setting up that day's show. So after we got one of the shows set up, I took my GoPro out and I just did a pan around the entire setup just to give you an idea of what everything looked like. And you can see that this is late in the afternoon, and we would start early in the morning and we would finish setting up late afternoon, and then we would have to wait around until showtime. Okay, so here's one of the night's shows. Forgive the video, I was on my cell phone and couldn't get back very far. I do flip the orientation part of the way through so you can see a little better. And if you don't want to watch the whole thing, at least watch the last minute of it. That's when you'll see the creamer mines. And also at the very end, I'll show you a little diagram on how those are made.